Today we're going to have some fun, and we are going to take a deep dive into what it's like to live day-to-day, ownership-wise, with the 2023 Bolt EUV. But before we get into it, I do need to thank TOPDON for always supporting the channel, and they sent out something sweet for our Bolt. So we brought the Bolt inside because we got a new charger from our buddies over at TOPDON. They've been a long-time supporter of the channel, and they sent this out because I decided pretty early on in owning this that I really wanted two chargers. It comes with the Chevy charger from the factory. It's fine, but I like to have one in the car, so whenever we're out on the road, if we needed a charger, we have one in the car, and then another one for home, and this is a sweet home setup. So that's what we're going to check out right now. We're going to mount it on the wall back behind me so we have a nice permanent setup in the garage. So this thing is a beast. So here's our charger. You can see how just serious these cables are. Way bigger and a little bit beefier than the factory ones that come on the Chevy charger. So there's the charger. We're going to put this wall mount on and hook this thing up. Installation is pretty easy. Now, it's even particularly easy for me because I have OSB on the wall. It comes with all the wall anchors, everything you need. You just stick this plate up there. You can do the anchors. Here I don't need to because I have solid wood to drill into. And then it comes with the holder for the end of your cord as well, and then you plug it in. Now, this 220 outlet here is a different cord end because I do use a welder out here, so I'm going to run an adapter. I could switch this out to the proper adapter for a charging cord, or to the proper end for a charging cord, then run an adapter to the welder, but since this is already here, I'm going to stick with it. Oh yeah, that's level as can be. The screws on the back here, I'm going to tighten those guys down a little bit. Did it slide down the whole way? I think it did. Nope, nope, not quite. Alright. They're in the whole way. And it comes with two little screws on either side that you can put in down here just to secure it a little bit more. There we go. That's going to be perfect. I was debating about where to put this, and I'm thinking we're going to go straight up here, which is a little unconventional, but so am I. So I was thinking about to the side here, but I don't know. I kind of want it up. I feel like down here you're more likely to like hit it or something if you would walk by this area. Up here I feel like you're less likely to because there's other stuff. So I'm going to put it up here. Straighten her up, put the level on it. Yep, that's good. Now it does have a cord holder up here. I don't think I'm going to be using that a whole lot in the garage here no matter what. There we go. Right there. So here's our final setup. I did actually get a cord end that is the proper one, but I just decided to use what we already got. So here it is. The cord is still a little wrapped up from packaging. That'll get better here over the next couple days. And there's our setup on the wall. We still need to connect to Wi-Fi. So if you look in your instruction manual, you'll see everything to get it hooked up. But there's an app. There's everything you can need. You just got to scan the QR code, hook it up to your Wi-Fi. We are at the edges of my Wi-Fi out here in the garage, but it did connect, as you can see up here. You can do lots of fun stuff in the app as far as, seeing your charging status, estimating, like your cost versus gasoline, lots of different things. So it's pretty cool. You can schedule your charging, all that different stuff. Highly recommend it. This thing is a beast. And one of the things I didn't mention is just not any 220. Don't just go plug this into any 220 outlet. You're supposed to have 6-gauge wire and 50 amp breaker for this guy. So yeah, it's no joke, but it should charge pretty fast. So really happy with this. Thank you, TOPDON. Really appreciate you sending this out. And honestly, I can't remember if I said it or not, but I do need to give TOPDON just a little, a big apology, actually, a very big apology. They sent this out months ago, and I just got busy and didn't do it. So, thank you guys for sending it out. It really is appreciated. I'm sorry it took me so long. All right, back to the review on the Bolt. So again, I want to say thanks to TOPDON for sending out the other charger. Now, everybody's needs as far as charging are different, so you got to kind of gauge that with where you live. But that is one of the biggest questions for those who don't have an EV is, what do I do about charging? The short answer to that is the best option is to charge at home. Now, you will need, as I said, a 220 outlet to use a level 2 charger. And a level 2 charger is a necessity. You can't charge off the 110. Yes, the cords come with the adapter so you can charge off a 110. It's really not an option. It takes days to charge off 110. I've never actually even seen from 0 to like even 80% how long it takes, but I have hooked up with the 110. It adds mileage, but at such a slow rate, it's almost not even really useful unless you're going to be parked somewhere for several days. So the 110 is kind of a joke, but if you a level 2 charger, and 220 is not that hard of an outlet or wiring or anything like that to have installed. It's the same thing as your washer and dryer. If you have an electric oven, it all runs off of that. So you can do it. There is some cost to it if you don't have the electrical skills. Now, while we're talking about charging, we got to address the elephant in the room. I do believe that the Bolt EUV is the best bargain, entry level, whatever you want to call it, EV out on the market. The thing works awesome, except for one big detail, and that is charging. These charge slowly. Even at a fast charger, they only charge like 55 kilowatts, which is extremely slow when a charger can do up to like 350. That depends on the charger, but that's kind of typical for fast chargers around. So no matter what you do, if you're going from like 20 to 80% battery or lower than that, 0 to 80, you're going to be sitting there for at least an hour most of the time, because the conditions also matter, whether the temperature outside, all those things play into it. But generally, I do see charging somewhere around the 53 kilowatt hour at a fast charger. I've done a fair amount of fast charging, and it is pretty time consuming. So if you're in an area where you don't have to fast charge a lot, I don't have to very often. I charge at home 99.9% of the time. My commute is generally around 70 miles. So for me, it works almost perfect. Now, we are going, in an upcoming video, going to do a road trip that's like 700 miles each way. Not done anything like that. It's might be terrible, it might be good, I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to check that out another time. But for day-to-day life, most of the time, this car works absolutely perfect. And you don't spend any time, what a lot of people don't think about, they hear that hour-long charging, but the rest of the time, I never stop at a gas station. I don't go to a gas station for a month at a time, unless I'm in one of my other cars. Like with this car, I don't, unless I'm stopping for a energy drink in the morning, I don't go to a gas station ever. So that's kind of a cool thing, and I think you overall save time charging at home unless you're fast charging a lot. I think you actually save time. You spend less time even with fueling up a car or whatever. But when you do need to do that road trip or where you got to charge, it is a little tough. So let's actually take a look at this thing. It's basically exactly as it should be from the factory. This has now 27,000 miles on it. Everything has worked good. I have no real Tesla type of problems. No crazy fit and finish. It is a little bit dirty, but I live out in the country and there's just no way to avoid it. The only thing that I saw, and I did a little inspection before the video, is that seal right there is popping up a little bit, but it's not. There's no air leaks. There's nothing like that. So as you take a walk around, it's up to you on the styling, whether you like it or not. I think they look pretty good for a small little hatchback. That's not saying that I think they're the best looking car in the world or anything like that. But I think they look all right for what they are. Now, some EVs do have storage underneath the hood. The Chevy Bolt does not. It is just all the inner workings of the batteries and motors there. I don't know what anything does under here. This is the end of my expertise. I kind of know a little bit about cars, and I don't know anything about these. Coolant there if you want to top off, so it does have some coolant and washer fluid, brake fluid. That I understand, and I understand the 12-volt battery, but that is the end of my knowledge. So all I know is that it works. You'll have to forgive me here. The wind has gotten so bad, I'm trying to cover it with my hands a little bit here, so that's why I'm walking around, and we're going to move inside shortly here. But one of the things, we moved from a 2013 Cadillac SRX, which is not a large SUV, but it does feel like, or we thought that it was a lot larger than this. And that's somewhat true. But the actual interior of this, like the passenger area, is larger. The back seat is significantly larger than it was in the Cadillac. It actually works a lot better for our life in that way. The storage area in the rear is a little bit smaller. Actually, it's significantly smaller, but it's still, you can still pack a fair amount of stuff. We're a family of 3. And that includes a 1-year-old in a car seat. and we really haven't had too many issues, unless we're picking other people up, but with our life, we haven't had many issues. So if you're in that same sort of category, it'll work pretty good for you. And we'll pop open the trunk here. Like I said, the space was definitely our top concern when we got this car, and for the most part, it has been fine. Now, there's usually a tray in here. We do take that out because we have a stroller, and it'll sit down pretty much in there. We have one of those big honking, huge $25,000 strollers. It's worth more than the car, and it sits right down in there. So not, you know, that's why we have everything out there, and there's a cover that usually comes in, but we do pack it with things pretty regularly, so we got both of those out. Now, you have to ignore some of our belongings in here. This is our personal car. We use it all the time. So this is the car seat that we use, which is a pretty large car seat, and that's how much space I have now. I'm 5'9". I'm not super tall. Actually, I'm probably 5'8". I kind of boasted there for a second. I'm like 5'8". But I got the seat even leaned back a little bit further than I usually use, and that's how much space we got between the seat and the car seat. So even 6 foot, you're not, no problem at all in here. Now, over that, you might start having some problems, but even the legroom in the rear here is so much better than our Cadillac, the, you know, midsize or small SUV, whatever you want to say. It works a lot better for our life, other than, like I said, the rear storage area is smaller. Now we're stepping into the driver's side. As you can see, I didn't move the seat or anything. There's plenty of space, plenty of leg room, all of those things. I don't have it wildly far up to make it look like there's more space in the back or something like that. But when you get in, you'll see your mileage and different stuff pop up on the screen, just the same as any other Chevy vehicle. I don't think there's anything particularly special there. Now, we're going to talk more about price later, but I will say that this is a base car. You can see that I don't have the leather wrap steering wheel. I don't have a lot of, well, you'll see here when they light up, but I don't have a lot of the buttons filled out. I don't have Super Cruise. I don't have any of the, you know, no leather, nothing like that. Everything in here, though, is actually pretty nice. Now, I'm not saying it feels like a high-end car. It doesn't. But I have no issues with the interior in here. I think it's comparable to anything else that I've been in. And I don't know if I should bring up Teslas yet or not, but the fit and finish and stuff is better. So that's the fact. I'm not really comparing anything else. I have the most experience with with Teslas, comparing it to this, and Tesla's kind of what everybody, you know, compares to these days, and the fit and finish and stuff, and the overall quality control is better in this for sure. So here's the startup procedure, which is the same as any other Chevy, other than you won't hear any engine start up. Green button, lights come on. I'm straightening out my steering wheel so you can see, and that's it. So now you're ready to go. It does have all of this type of, you know, shifter, which every car has. Wireless charger up there. And some other ports up, so USB-C, USB, and your normal 12-volt outlet. So, Android Auto, I'm not even going to go in through. I'm going to turn that off so it's not super loud. I won't go in depth into the infotainment system. It has Android Auto. It has Apple CarPlay. That is going away in Chevy vehicles, I think next year or the year after, which is a shame because it works great in this. Now, we have in the family a brand new Chrysler Pacifica. They're Android and Android Auto, Apple CarPlay does not work very well in those, but in this, it works really well. It actually would be something that I would consider when purchasing a vehicle, is whether or not it has Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So that's disappointing that that's going away. The only screen that's really different than any other Chevy stuff is just this energy screen here. It gives you all the different things there about your mileage and what affects it. It's actually kind of important because if you see that you're driving, you know, 80 miles an hour, you're not obviously going to be as efficient as it's driving 55 or 60. So battery power, all that stuff. So while we're inside, we already got her fired up. Let's go for a quick test drive here. I'll give you my thoughts on how it drives, all those things, and then we'll come back and I'll give you some of the details why I really think it's the best budget one you can buy. All right, here we go on our test drive. Now, obviously, I've driven this car all the time, so I know exactly what to expect, but we might as well just get our 0 to 60 run right out of the way. This does go uphill a little bit. They say from the factory it does 6.8. I think it's probably pretty close to that. It actually feels quicker than that, and these are 200 horsepower, so, you know, nothing crazy. Let's go. Oh, got a little wheel spin. Still spinning, still spinning. There we go. Yeah, it feels much peppier, actually, than the 6.8 seconds that it's quoted. And then now we're going to come up to some corners here. Now, I won't say this car is not what I would consider to be a sporty car, but it drives very nice. It doesn't have crazy heavy steering or anything like that. It just is kind of a relaxed driving experience, which is, most of the time, is what you want. This isn't a comparison to the Teslas, but it drives better. My brother and I have both driven Teslas and the Bolt extensively, like months, but several thousand miles on all of them. And both the Model 3, and the Model Y do not drive as nice on a day-to-day basis as the Bolt. Yes, they're faster, a little bit sportier. I mean, they're not known for handling either, but the actual driving experience, just cruising up and down the road, this car centers on the road really nicely. The Teslas don't. And, you know, I know that I'm going to get all the hate in the world from the Tesla people who are a little bit fragile. So I know that. But we have Teslas. We don't hate them. They just, the Bolt drives better for most people. So I'm gonna do one more 0 to 60 with my seatbelt on here and a little bit less of a wet road. It was kind of wet where we were before, so we'll just stop. And here we go. Still spinning the wheels, kind of caught there. And there's 60. So it is quick. You'll have no problem. Yes, the 6.8 is not an impressive number, 0 to 60 at all, but you're not gonna have ever an issue merging or anything like that. It is a very quick car and will beat most of the things of cars of this size. There's no weird clunks, there's no air noise, there's nothing like that inside. The build quality, truly, I'm impressed with. Yes, I do like GM stuff, but I've had plenty of GM stuff where I've had issues with the build quality. This car is not one of them. Okay, so back from our test drive, and there's 3 points I think I want to make. Maybe there's 4, I don't know. Should have written some of this stuff down, but there's basically 3 points I want to make of why I really like this car, and I think it's the best option, especially in the budget range for EVs. 1 is price, 2 is tech, 3 is build quality. Okay, and I am going to be basing this mostly off of Teslas because that's what I have the most experience with. We've had 2 Model 3s, a 2018, a 2022, and then a 2023 Model Y. I've driven them all extensively. My brother Lance, who you see on the channel all the time, he's the one who drives those, and he has driven this Bolt a lot. So we've had a lot of back and forth comparison, and both of us agree on a lot of these points. Let's start with price. Now, this is a base Bolt, pretty much. It had a few options at the base. At the beginning of this year when we bought it, I think it was like $26,000. You can get a $7,500 tax credit. There's no $26,000 ones hardly to be found. There was a few, and everybody went out and bought them for the tax credit. So the $7,500 tax credit is Pennsylvania. I think it changes state to state. I'm not up on all of those details, but so you can get this really affordably. The sticker on this one with a few options. Forget all of them. I know, like, it was bought out of Florida, had windows tinted, some paint protection, I think lane keep assist. I don't know, there's some stuff, but all of that, it still is a very affordable car. You're in the mid to low 20s by the time you get your tax credit. So now I know some of the Tesla prices have come down as well, but they're still $10,000 to $15,000 more. Then we're going to move over to the tech side of things. No, this isn't as flashy as a Tesla. It doesn't have as much tech. I'm absolutely 100% true. No, I can't make it fart when you turn on the turn signal or for the person in the back or any of those things. Okay, I don't, you know, whatever. But the tech that it does have works better than the Tesla. It's more reliable. Some of the really cool, like, you know, self-driving stuff, all of the Teslas have been glitchy. The 2018, actually, ironically, Model 3 that we had was the best. It was the best built car. The other two have all had problems. And the 2018 still had some issues like, I don't know, headliners, clips coming out, and different build quality issues, which we're going to get to build quality. I keep forgetting that's one of my next thing. But the tech that this has works really well. Automatic headlights, lane keep assist, all of those things work without any flaws. Like the Teslas, like sometimes you would turn them on where, you know, you bump your key or you get in and like the screens don't light up. It takes like 2 minutes for them to light up. The self-driving on the 2022 Model 3 that we had was some of the worst technology. Like, you couldn't even use cruise in the car. Yes, it was probably not working correctly from the factory day one.
but it would just slam on its brakes in traffic, and this is not an isolated incident. You can look up articles about Teslas doing this. So they have some glitches in their stuff, and like I say, like automatic headlights in the Tesla, you get flashed all the time. Now their low beams are very high, so you get flashed for that, but they just don't work reliably. And then that's kind of a bummer, especially when you got a cheaper car that works better. And lastly, we're coming to build quality, and that is that this car is built really, really well. It's not a high-end car. I'm not trying to act like it is, but it's built really, really well. It's quiet inside. The door's shut nice. There's no loose panels, all those things. And every Tesla that we've had has had build quality issues. Air leaks, I would call it probably being the #1. You put your window down, like they seal up over time, but you put your window down and put it back up, and every single one just leaks air through. Like you can press on the window and it'll make it, extra noise or less or whatever. And it's really, really annoying. Like AC systems, stuff like that in the Teslas have all been a little bit quirky. Yeah, just the build quality, and that's been well documented too, is Tesla doesn't have, they're a newer car company. I think it may get better, I hope. But yeah, they look flashy, they look nice inside, all of those things, but I think the stuff in here is actually better quality. And I've driven some of the other SUVs, like the Ford Mach-E. That was really decent car. That was good build quality. But the price is so much more than this, it's just not even really comparable. So the Model 3, and I know there's the Hyundai and stuff like that, but all of them are, a lot of them are significant price jump from the Bolt EV. So if you can get your mind around the charging, that sometimes that takes a while. It takes a while in any car, but yes, it does take longer in the Bolt. It's too slow. It's absolutely too slow. But if you can get used to that, or you don't need to do that very often, this is a really solid car for almost everybody. Obviously, if you have a big family, a 7-seater, this is not the car for you. But if you're looking for a smaller 5-seat car, I would definitely look into this. I mean, with the tax credits, you can get it for like cheap gas car prices. So that's why I'm going to say this is the best budget EV on the market. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Put your thoughts down below. I'm sure I angered all the Tesla fans today. I'm sure of it. I don't care. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back